We are live. We are live, family. It's your boy Zulu Gullah. Like, share, and comment. Um, sorry for the wait. Sorry for the delays. But um, I'm here. I wanted to go ahead and make sure I did them. This stream probably being of the most importance for y'all. Um, but actually, yeah, this stream is probably the most important for y'all. I was able to get on the stream last night of a brother who asked me to come through when he have something. Shout out to David the asshole. Y'all go subscribe, check that brother out. One of the real ones. Uh, you getting information how you supposed to get it from that brother. So I wasn't really up to it. Still recovering. Now I really been sick. I caught a summer cold. And, my sinuses and stuff been acting crazy prior to that. And then I caught the summer cold. You know, I'm about I'm in between 3 and 7 days in of knocking that. Got a little congestion left, but it's still messing with my voice a little bit. Other than that, I don't feel it in my head like I was. Really interfere with your talking stuff. No COVID, but you should stop dating altogether. Reinvent it based on the history of dating. Now, in the description, I gave y'all, I think, three different types of definitions. A couple of those definitions identify where the actual word come from, and then the second of those goes into detail about the name of the person in his particular situation, uh, which was a disappointing situation in which the word came about or the term came about. All in all, what you guys need to understand is that dating started out at a man's demise. Just look at the description and I put it in there for you. It started out at a man's demise. And we talk about the modern woman. Well, ironically, back in the 1800s, before the turn of the century, probably about 5 or 6 years before the turn of the century, before you go into the 1900s, um, you're dealing with a city woman versus a rural woman or a particular type of person, a citizen that is starting out the city life. So this man, he's upset that the lady of his interest, living in the city at the turn of the 19th century, was seeing other people, and that has been the practice that has been passed down since dating has happened. It's been a woman's tool to try out multiple men in various ways. I get a little bit more into the history of dating. I can't read the article right now, which I was supposed to read it, but I did. I believe I put the link in the description, but it's an article by the list on the history of dating. So I will give you the reference. Google the history of dating and click on the article by the list, and you will see what I'm talking about. There's so many things that involves dating that that was created in the 19th century that it'll really throw you off. All right. And I'm out here early in the morning to get my walk on. I'm probably gonna get my jog on a little bit. I'm gonna do me some calisthenics and try to do this for y'all at the same time. So y'all bear with me. So women in various ways have been passed down to teaching within dating to try out men. They try you out in sex. They try you out in types of dates. They try you out in just to go out and get food from you. So, and it's all associated with the turn of the century and the city life. Okay. Now, when you get into the article of the list, um, they start putting off the concept of dating more so on college students. And this lasts from like the 1950s clearly to the 70s. Well, one thing you want to do is you want to back up and go back to, like I said, the turn of the century, because two things happen, especially with that city life, city living, because they really did a lot of skipping and afforded a lot of efforts to college kids when it was the city life. And then the element of love was added in. And that's where you guys really gotta read that article. Uh, I'm pretty sure you understand that marriages before the turn of the century, 19th century, had nothing to do with love. And you niggas have been love stricken. We all have been love stricken for damn near 100 years plus. And it makes absolutely no sense because we used to didn't operate like that. And that's one of the key problems too. The key problem in dating is you shouldn't be dating because it's originally not designed for you. And also that you have been practicing love, which is a very odd, and not to say that love didn't exist in history, but it was a very odd and uncommon practice. Very few men exercise the mind state of love. And that's for a reason because it's damaging. It dwindles your capacity as a man to operate on a high masculine, productive, and thinking level. So you when you really think about that part of everything, that really is a big portion of the problem out here for men. Men are operating off love. And that is probably one of the worst discoveries it seems that you can probably have revealed to you. But I mean, I'm just here to tell you it's not normal and it's not healthy. Okay. It's not normal and it's not healthy. Um, so we know the turn of the century. We know the city life. Um, we know that it was transferred from the overall city life to college students. So we know that. Now, getting into the college students, um, you know what happens on college campus. New ideals, new theories. Um, young adults are taught to expand on concepts, and new thoughts evolve. All right. So naturally, you're going to have new concepts, and you're going to have um, what people are doing that particular day to try to make something evolve, right? So dating went from not only people being out openly in public versus being supervised by family on both sides in order to achieve a union between the man and woman of each of those families. It went from people being out in the open to going about and doing activities out in the open, out in public, which was a new thing, which wasn't considered appropriate, that evolved to college students in sexual freedom and exploration. All this is synonymous with civil rights, the involvement of women's rights. Uh, so, women's rights have brewed from the late 1800s up until the 1900s, and they got attached to civil rights, okay, which brings in sexual freedom. Thus, the hookup culture. Again, an original, it was designed for women to try out multiple people. So, it became more prevalent from a sexual aspect. And the worst, I can tell you the worst time period. The worst time period was the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s was the worst time period for you as this guy participating in dating, quote unquote. You basically submit your resume to women, and women were just bouncing around from dude to dude, and you had no idea. You could be talking to a woman, she's talking to five, six guys, going on dates with five, six guys, sleeping with multiple guys. And the way they were, the way the women were playing it, you would be the best pick, hopefully. And you had no idea that this was going on. You were thinking you're just taking a chick on a date, and you're in part of a process of elimination. You start to discover that she thinks she's better than you, and you have to be good enough to be with her when this woman is actually less than you, probably has less going on than you. You have way more credentials. You have a better credit score, uh, better economic choices and judgment, better money management skills, more money in the bank. You take care of yourself better. And whether dating or having sex, men don't have as many options or partners because it's hard for men to acquire sex. You have to really work hard to acquire sex and the attention of a woman. Y'all bear with me. I'm up here get my workout on. Actually, I'm gonna go up here from the tennis court. We just gonna bang out some push-ups and do some jogging. Ain't gonna be too creative today. Let me get up here. Had a nice little walk. I'll do my lunges on the way back. Actually, I can do some lunges right now. So yeah, you see the pattern, right? Now I want to tell you guys something because I'm gonna do a stream on this. There was no such thing in history in the mating, the natural mating, or social mating and dating process. Let me stop saying date because dating again is a new invention designed for women to have the advantage of establishing a matriarchy over you. It is demonic. It is not natural, nor are girlfriends. Girlfriends and dating is not natural. It is not spiritual. It is not divine. They are falsehoods. A woman is to go straight to be your wife. If she's not your wife, she can only be a concubine. So you have to really look at history. You have to really look at scripture. You have to go through different religious texts. You have to look at the natural order and the way of doing things. Your ultimate proof is a natural order. What you see in nature, what you look around and see. The pre, the pre, well, the dominant structure you see is male leadership under multiple females in the rest of the community. Polygyny is the majority natural construct. It is the original. But ladies want you to think it's polymorphous and matriarchal. Even the Black Power groups have made the mistake of saying that the original African societies, the first societies in the history of the world, were matriarchal. Uh, these guys have preached that rhetoric to a fault. Their message has dwindled. I used to be Black Power, and I used to believe that the Black woman was God, but I never believed that the Black woman was God solely or in a matriarchal rulership. I used to believe that the Black woman was God alongside the Black man, and that the Black man and Black woman have always been together, and that she is only God in the sense of the way she lives, the spiritual system, moral system that she follows. That's what made her God. And the original African systems had a high standard for women. So women were a certain way and lived a certain way. They are not the women of today that you see, the women of past decades and centuries. Totally different thing. But I had to denounce that concept altogether because it was too dangerous to even repeat such a thing. And the problem with these guys was they weren't repeating the requirements in order to be of that status. They were just simply saying it, and women were just claiming it without knowing the system, the work, and the training it takes to be that. Which to me is just useless altogether. It's just going to be a lost teaching or an ancient concept that can't be applied today because these women cannot measure up and go into the practice of that particular system. And their biggest problem is they want to dismiss the presence of the Black man and the necessity to even have him in order to achieve that status as well, because they can't be there without the standard and without the Black man alone. But I don't want to get too far off in a nutshell with this nonsense. Just rule it out. Simply put, just like you need to rule out dating and you need to rule out girlfriends. Um, so getting back into the to history, um, you guys need to make your own decision. Um, you need to stop listening to these dating coaches because the practice of dating is only going to lead you down a path of danger. The practice of having a girlfriend versus you finding a culture where the women are more accustomed to role-based systems and carrying out family traditions and upholding morals and honor, where they're immediately ready to go and to be married, and they have been trained to be wives, and they have a desire to be wives, and they have a desire not to be anything in relation to a man other than his wife and to help him build his family. Now, if they want to help him build businesses or whatever and stuff like that, that's fine too, because that's part of generational wealth. But you guys need to make a decision. You clearly see what you have been doing hasn't been working and that there's something wrong with it. And I'm here to tell you that the ultimate proof is it's unnatural. Girlfriends did not exist. Uh, Historically, definitely in religion, and they did not exist in nature. I mean, in nature alone, once a woman is of mating maturity, she goes up under the head of the alpha male. There are very few soldier males amongst the alpha male that are allowed to mate, but that's for strength and number purposes to defend off against attack. But overall, you as a man, you have the right to polygyny if you have the means and the capacity to do so. Um, I don't think there's anything wrong with monogamy because it goes back to economics, being able to make smart decisions. Women are a liability just as much as kids. So if you don't have the resources and finances to practice polygyny, I understand monogamy is a better option. No man is supposed to be on this earth alone, and no man is supposed to be of the alphabet preference. Men are supposed to be hetero. But you do yourself a demeaning and disservice now if you're dealing with one female who is not fulfilling you. That's when monogamy becomes really not a good decision based on economics. It becomes a bad decision based on you selling yourself short. Um, I got rid of a female for not performing, for not matching my performance. Anytime I do anything, I do it wholeheartedly and I do it to the best of my ability and skill set how I was trained to do it. And then, it just comes from the goodness in my heart and the potential of where I want to see things go. Now, when it becomes one-sided or it becomes a lack of effort, then I have to move on. So the one-itis doesn't take over. I learned that over time. I used to suffer from that one-itis and I used to struggle with monogamy. I don't anymore. I pull the plug quick. Now I give it a little time. I give people time, the benefit of the doubt, a chance to grow and get better. But then it gets to a certain point, it's where like, you know what? I make sure it's not me first and foremost. And then if I need to accept responsibility about something, I'll go ahead and do it. But overall, I know that I put in more effort and something's not right, and you pull the plug. But a lot of guys will tell you just have multiple options and stuff like that. You can do that as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I say, you just got to be careful and make sure you're doing it the right way. Um, but there's nothing wrong with monogamy if it suits you and if the woman is fulfilling you. In these days and times, though, it's best to remain single. It's best to not have any kids. Um, and you should not be taking women on dates. Women don't deserve dates. Women in America, women in westernized countries don't deserve dates. Dates aren't even the thing that you're supposed to be doing. It never has been. It never was. It was invented for women. It was invented for women to try out multiple guys, especially city women, which extends to modern women of today. It's embedded in college concepts, education. You guys have figured out, you should have figured out by now, when women say that they're educated, best believe they're indoctrinated. And they have a lot of dating strategies to their advantage. You guys need to make that connection. Mm, Still a little bit congested, but I'm up here walking. Try to bang out some push-ups. Matter of fact, let's get some push-ups in right now. Get a good 50 ball in. I wonder if I can bust 10 sets of 50, man. Coming off this damn cold. Ah, ah, eh, 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 eh. Yeah, there we go, fellas. Oh, 50 clip real quick. Excuse me. Oh, 50 clip. Do a few squats. I ain't gonna try to do too much while I'm streaming, but I just start that 50 clip to start to burn and do a few squats, half squats from my knees. Yeah. Woo. So these dating coaches have been following a practice they know nothing of. Excuse me. They've been teaching you there are useless ways of going about an incorrect practice from the beginning to make it effective for you. It was never designed for you. It was never designed for you. Never. Therefore, it is evil. Dating and girlfriends are evil, demonic, and a danger to you. You need to be careful. You can save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of mental health, a lot of physical health. You can save yourself some finances, and you can change the market. The current state that we're in, nobody knows who is married to who. You are in a hookup and an adulterous culture. Even women that get married have already been married because they've already had sex to multiple men. I said this the other day. I said this last night. Also, you got another brother in YouTube, Black Male Advice TV, saying this. This is all these same sayings in regards to all the sleeping around has come about within the last week. You don't know who's married to who, and women are not designed to be having all the sex and all the different types of men that they're having. And you got twisted religious practices, especially in Christianity, not consistent with any scriptures. So this is why really all you have in this country is concubines. For the simple fact you can't keep up with a trace of woman's history to determine who she's originally married to based upon her sexual history, among other things regarding sexual history. And you engage in taking on her demons, her spirits, and imprints from her past. And then you wonder why your divorce rate is so high. And you wonder why over 70% of divorces are initiated by women. It's because they weren't supposed to be married to you in the first place. You're not supposed to be loving them first and foremost, just as much as you're not supposed to be dating them or making them girlfriends. I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds very, very bad, but you need to think about it. It's all based upon you giving up your power to them. And women cannot handle usage of power. And you see that now. You see where we're headed now. You got the wrong people voted in office based on who have caused this economy to be where it's at right now. All these failed marriages and relationships, the breakdown of the family structure is due to transferring power to women. The black community has been decimated for practicing transferring power to women for longer than other races and cultures. A little boy's masculinity has dwindled and is holding on by a lifeline in the black community. You should not be dating. You should not be having girlfriends. You should not be loving women. You should be having concubines and wives based on contracts. Period. And American women are 100% purely concubine status only. I'm sorry. And that's the harsh truth. Uh, Men naturally do not have as many repercussions as women for having multiple sex partners. We were designed for it. We still have to do it a better way, a more structured and better, healthy way. Um, but women were only designed to have sex with one man the rest of their natural life. Otherwise, they're going to have mental problems, imprints, many men's DNA in their system, which is going to develop into spiritual issues, multiple personalities, uh, to become very unstable, no matter how they look. And then those imprints, spirits, and personality disorders can transfer to you if you're not careful. I want you guys to know that. So I'm gonna end this stream. I'm gonna get into this workout. I apologize deeply again for the delays, but I have been under the weather. It started with my allergies, and then I caught a summer cold from a coworker. I'm still mad at him. He just one of those people when they leave work, they go do whatever, and they bring a lot back to work. They don't know how to stay at home. So y'all bear with me, man. I'm gonna try to keep these streams coming. I've been keeping them coming. I've been there. Give me a little credit now, because I've been doing a lot than I have of recent years and times. I've been really active, man. So I'm trying to get it cracking. Y'all see the channel, man. Got the new graphics and stuff like that. I'm gonna add more to it. So stay tuned. But it's your boy Zulu Gutter. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all be a blessed family, and y'all take care of yourselves, man. And I'm out.